I'm a boss chick, yeah, I'm a boss lady. I be calling shots, I be getting money. I'm a boss chick, yeah, I'm a boss lady. I be calling shots.
Hi everyone, welcome to I Look Good Naked podcast with Cass and
Terri J. Vaughn.
Oh, now she's doing her sexy voice. She's usually talking about me and my voice. And
yeah, no, I have a cold, so I have a something, and Sam just kind of scooted over when I said I had a cold. I know she doesn't want to be too close.
Sam is our guest, by the way.
We have a great, fantastic guest today, and I'm so excited. But before we intro the guest, we'll do our quote of the day from Cass, and I'll read my woman of the day.
Quote of the day. It's by Michelle Obama, who is so awesome. I love how she dresses. I just love her whole swag. But our quote of the day from her is, the difference between a broken community and a thriving one is the presence of women who are valued.
That's right.
I just love it. It just reminded me of
real good.
Like when we used to have big mamas in the community. We had aunties, we had houses, and just women who took care of the kids. If you were outside playing all day, you went to someone's house, they fed you, you ate. There were just women who took care of the kids in the community. And I feel with the families, a lot of families are broken and economics and just everything. We have a lot of single mothers now who just are working double jobs, 2 jobs. A lot of the elders are not there anymore. So the community has changed. The dynamics of the community has changed. And I would love to get back to that in some way, in our way now. Yeah. But definitely the presence of those big mamas and aunts. And
do you think because mostly people move away now, like everyone doesn't stay in the same area and same community anymore? Everybody's so spread out in the world today.
Well, you know what?
Whereas
I think
we
culturally,
all used to be in the same neighborhood.
Culturally, African Americans did. I think there are other cultures that still do. They still have that same community essence. But I do agree. People leave home. People leave home, and the elders die out, and now we're just not together anymore. So I would agree with that. But we still need to find women to value in the community, because there are still women there. And we just have to learn how to respect them more.
They're just not big mamas no more.
No, they're not big mamas.
Well, because everyone's healthy now. So
is that it? Because we don't eat pork anymore. So the key is to go back to eating pork, so that we still have big mamas in the community, and
I
won't
eat
be broken.
Pork, so I know people might try to.
Well, maybe you're gonna be the big mama in the community.
Hey, I am big mamas are skinny now. That's the thing. They're small. Anyway, we digress. Thank you for your quote of the day, Cass.
You're welcome.
So I have the woman in Black history that I want to highlight. And anyway, her name is Deolinda Rodriguez de Almeida. Almeida. Mm-hmm. I'm going to actually have Sam, our guest, read her name because it's very beautiful when she says it.
Why don't we just introduce her first and then we do the guest?
Okay.
That would make sense.
Go ahead.
I'm introducing.
Or Sam Ramirez Herrera. Do you go by your Ramirez and Herrera?
Yeah.
Herrera.
Yeah.
Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Herrera.
Yep.
Am I saying it with the right little twang to it?
With the right little accent.
Herrera?
The H is silent, so it's Herrera.
Oh, Herrera. Mm-hmm. Sam Ramirez Herrera is our guest today, and she is a fantastic young woman that is doing amazing things and impacting the world. I'm so proud to call her a friend. I'm proud to know her, and just proud of the work that she's doing, which we will get into. But again, let me go back to the highlight of today, and I'm going to have Sam Ramirez Herrera say it.
So her name is Deolinda Rodriguez de Almeida.
So awesome. Yes.
Do you want to read the rest?
I'll read the rest. Okay. So she's born February 10th, 1939 until 1968. She was a writer, a translator, revolutionary movement leader, and women's rights activist, known as Mother of the Revolution for her role in the Angolan independence movement. Co-founded the Women's Division of the People's Movement in the Liberation of Angola. Corresponded with Martin Luther King Jr. in an effort to get ideas on how to help her country's fight for independence from the Portuguese, tortured and executed after being captured for her political work. She died a martyr of the struggle for freedom in Angola. So, yay. Hopefully Melissa will give us some. Melissa, you'll give us some bells and whistles and cheers for Deolinda.
I think I'm going to use her name as one of my characters in something.
I love that. Isn't it beautiful?
I wonder what it means. Well, Linda in Spanish is pretty. Mm-hmm. What is Deo?
Deolinda.
I don't know. But I'm going to find out. She's going to be a character.
Deo does mean something. Deo.
Deo.
No.
That doesn't mean that.
Do not do that.
Deolinda,
stop it right there. Pause. So Sam is our guest today, and very excited to have her and to talk about some of the stuff that she's doing, and just to highlight her as, you know, I have on my Feminist as Fuck t-shirt today, and I really feel like Sam is just at the forefront of helping the world to receive women in the powerful way that we are supposed to be received.
I agree.
She is doing all sorts of things. Actually, maybe she's right here. She can speak for her damn self. So, Sam, what you got to say for yourself?
What are you doing, girl?
What you doing, girl? No. So yes, talk about what you are doing. You've been very active with the Dreamers, making sure that you guys all stay being taken care of the same way that other citizens are, and fighting for the rights for you guys, which I think is fantastic.
Her kick-ass. Definitely want to talk about the kick-ass girl.
I want to talk about her kick-ass girls powwow, which she does, empowering women and pouring into women and bringing powerful women together. She's doing so many things. And just
let her
I know.
talk.
Why don't I shut the hell up?
That's what I want you to do. Can you just let Sam talk?
Jesus, yes.
I feel like the way you guys described, or you women describe me as, I'm like, oh, like that is so like.
You're amazing.
You are.
She's very humble too. It's like she is doing like things like beyond, and she's so humble. Like, oh, I'm not hardly doing anything.
And she's a mom.
Like you are.
And
she's a single mom.
On top of that,
all that. I wrote down things that she is. She's a true influencer. I know that people talk about influencers on social media because they got a lot of followers, blah, blah, blah. No. She is a true influencer, meaning she is making a difference and influencing the lives of people. She's creating change. She's an entrepreneur. She's an artist. She's an activist. She's a disruptor. She's an innovator. She's a single mom. She is an entrepreneur. She's all this stuff. Okay. What's up, Sam?
I feel like all of this, like I'm like, Jesus, that's a lot.
You are a lot in a good way. We're gonna be quiet now.
Well, I'm just like really grateful for you guys for inviting me to your podcast. Like I love the podcast. I love like the whole concept behind the I Look Good Naked. I think it's like so empowering for women to actually even say those words. Yes. And I mean, like, you know, like you mentioned all those things that I do. Like I feel like for me, I feel like I'm just living in my purpose. And, you know, I am the founder and CEO of Off the Record, and we create like a lot of content and creative strategy and consulting for brands that are normally like do-good brands. Like most of our brands and organizations that we work with, they're like purpose-driven organizations. So we do that. And actually, like speaking up for Dreamers and focusing on this immigration debate going on right now, kind of like happened this year because I am one of those Dreamers. And for people who don't know what Dreamers are, it's young people that were brought into America illegally by your parents. But when the Obama administration was in place, he created a program called Deferred Action for childhood arrivals, because for one, it's like we didn't choose to come here, like our parents brought us here, and we have grown up in America. Right. And we have, you know, like some of us don't even know, like don't remember like the countries that we came from. And we have grown up here, we've gone to school here, we've been working here because of the program that Obama put in place, going to school here, and the current administration dismantled that program. Right. And there's been a lot of like back and forth with the Supreme Court, like reinstating the program, taking it away. You know, Congress was supposed to come up with a solution that just passed on March 5th, and like nothing has been done. And in the midst of all that, there has been like so many young people that are losing their jobs, that are that are really deeply affected by all of this. And there's like a lot of myths out there that, like we're getting welfare, we're getting free things, and none of that is true. So for me, like coming from a place to where I focus more on creativity, and I've always considered myself more of a creative, it was important to get out there with like the rest of the dreamers that are out there fighting and do my part in sharing our stories in the way that I know how. And because I started doing that, it just kind of like led to like other things, people being, interested in hearing more of our stories. So I've just made sure that I use those opportunities to uplift our voices.
Right, we were in. I think I was at Sundance, and I literally was on my phone, and I'm like, "Is that Sam?" It was like
Sam
on
talking
CNN, right? Or MSNBC.
Yeah, it was MSNBC.
Yes.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about that. Like, how did they find you? How did you get invited?
So I actually, the first time I actually opened up about my personal story was at this thing called Hatch, which is a conference that they invite 100 people every year that are
100. Only 100 people, guys. Get invited.
She was chosen, and I saw your speech, and it made me cry.
Hold on 1 second. I'm so sorry. Oh,
No.
we can keep going? Okay.
So is there a link or something? I think everyone should see your speech and what you said.
Yeah, there's definitely a link. I believe you could go to hatchexperience.org and the talk will pop up. But also, like, if you just Google, like, my name.
Okay.
But if you Google it and Google
me, bitch. Google me. Basically.
If you Google it with a Hatch next to it, like, the talk will pop up.
Right.
And I wasn't even supposed to go out there and talk. They just kind of asked me when I was there because, like, this, like, immigration debate was so strong. And I didn't know any of these people. I was really nervous, and I just was like, well, you know what, there's like so many people out there that don't have a voice, and I should probably like share my story because it may do something.
So it was impromptu. You were not
ready, like,
oh
no.
my God.
And it was very naked.
Girl.
It was very
raw.
naked. It was very
I
unfiltered.
felt naked.
Yeah.
You could feel it. You could feel how vulnerable you were at that moment. And I think that's what people connected to, because even though they may not have a dreamer story, it was really a story about you having these opportunities and this freedom that all of a sudden you may not have. Right. And everybody, I think, can relate to that on some level,
And I think also, like, just like you said, like, I felt like naked. I felt really vulnerable because I didn't really know any of these people. Like, I didn't know any of these people. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, this could go really bad or it could be great. But at the end of the day, I felt like I was carrying, like, a lot of stress and a lot of weight on my shoulders because, like, sometimes as women, like, as moms, as entrepreneurs, as like all the things that we are, it's like we are like expected to nurture and find solutions. And for me, it was like I felt all of this weight on me, and I felt like I didn't have anyone to like be vulnerable with because everybody's looking to me to be strong.
Right.
And at that moment, like, just being on that stage, like, I don't even remember, like, noticing the people that were there. It was kind of like a moment of just, like, bearing my soul and just, like, getting naked and, like, being like, this is my truth and I'm going to own it. And if people in this room, because, it was, like, a very white room.
Right.
Like, it was very white. And I was like, you know what? Like, people in here could be people that are against me being in this country.
Right.
So, I'm going to be here with these people for the next 4 days. And I don't know, but this is my truth, and I'm going to stand in my truth because my truth is the truth of so many other people out there. And it is my grandparents' truth. It is, like, the truth of my ancestors. Like, this was, like, our land. A lot of America was our land. Like, my grandfather was a bracero from, that was imported from Oaxaca to America to grow crops. And, like, he was in America year after year growing crops for Americans. And he didn't get his citizenship until, like, close to his death. Like, he didn't have time to, like, do anything for his family. So it's like I'm just simply like walking in the land of my ancestors.
That's right.
And picking up where my grandpa left off. So for me, it's like I don't feel like we're taking anything from America. I feel like I'm just simply like walking in, you know, where I'm supposed to be right now. And I'm picking up where my grandfather left off.
That's right. Oh my God. See, she's making me get teary already. Yes, this one right here. So how was the invitation? How did you even get the invite to be there at Hatch?
So I got the invite like 2 weeks before Hatch even happened, and I was always very against like conferences and like networks, and not like against it in a bad way.
Yes, no, I understand. You know, I understand.
I just always feel like I don't fit in. Like I don't want to wear a suit and tie.
It's too corporate. It's too
And times that I have attempted to like sit in and listen, I just never feel like somebody's like. People are putting on their like accomplishments and not their truths.
Right.
So I was like,
and nothing gets done.
Yeah.
It's just everyone comes and talks and talks and talks, and then everyone's like, "See you next year at the conference."
Yeah. So I was like, and it actually came like a really close friend of mine who's an immigration attorney and has been a great friend. She nominated me, and the founder of Hatch was like, "We have to get her here." And he sent me an email, and he's like, "We want you to come. It's like 4 days in the mountains." First of all, like, I'm like, what Mexican person goes to to a mountain in Montana for 4 days? Like, first of all, like, I was like, I don't know about all that.
That's funny.
And then, you know, like, they gave me a scholarship to go, and they were like, you should, you know, be open to, like, what the universe has for you.
That's right. And that's one of the other things that I love about you.
Yeah, and it was just, like, they were speaking that language, too. So I was like, well, maybe I should go, you know? Because at that moment, too, like, the whole current administration had just like said we're gonna get rid of DACA. Like it was just like everything was getting really crazy during that time.
Right.
And I felt so overwhelmed. I felt like I didn't know what was next. Like work for us was really slow during that time. And I just like was like, this is it. Like what else? Like I don't see anything positive happening. Like I don't know what to do. And that was like a sign from the universe saying like show up, like keep showing up for life.
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna find someone to watch CJ. Like I'm just gonna go. And I just like got on that plane and went.
And I've never heard of Hatch until you went and told us about it. I'd never heard of it.
Yeah.
And the fact that they only invite 100 people in the country.
Yeah. And it's like in the world.
In the world. Yeah, it's not in the country, it's in the world. Out of the billion people in the world, only 100 get to go.
Only 100
and we're sitting with one of them.
And you got that invite being a girl, just a girl like you are, just a girl trying to follow her dreams, and you got that call. That's so God. That's so God. He's like, seriously, yeah, girl, I need you here. I need you to be here. And guess what? I need you to talk.
Yeah. And it was so scary. Like when I went there, like I didn't talk to people. Like, and my friend, she was there too. And she was like, I want you to like, Okay. My friend Cheryl, she's the immigration attorney. She was like, I want you to like go and talk to other people that are not me. And I was like, oh my God, like these are all like really accomplished people. Like there was like an astronaut there, Katie Coleman. There was like Sylvia Earle, who's like an oceanographer, like she was just on Time magazine. There's all these people that were like so accomplished.
And you.
Yeah, but I was just walking around like, oh my God. And not to mention, like, I was the only Mexican person there. So, like, I was walking around and I saw Oman, who's a teacher here in Atlanta that does great work. Okay. And he's, he's African-American. So when I saw him, me and him saw each other, we kind of gave each other the head nod, like, yeah, people of color.
Yes,
we were kind of like, hey, what's
that
up?
Recognition. Yep, yeah, we love it.
And it was just like the first day was so awkward. I didn't talk to people. I felt like people didn't really notice me. And but I don't think it was like on purpose. It was just like I was just not talking to people because I was like freaked out. And the next day when like my friend Cheryl told the lady like you should have Sam talk, they were like, you have to do a talk, like you should do this because this is important, like this may help like your cause. And after I did it, like it was like such like immense support from everybody that was in the room. Like everybody was so supportive. And it was so crazy because I had a roommate in the cabins we were staying at. And she was like, before I left, she was just like, I like your strategy. And I was like, what strategy? And she's like,
oh my God.
She's like walking in and just being quiet and not talking to anyone. And then you just like drop the mic and you are like immediately like the most powerful person in the room. And I was like, that was not a strategy, girl.
That was God. That's funny.
That is
That's
funny.
funny
That is
that
funny
she would
that
say
she
that.
thought that you had a strategy.
Yeah, she's like,
Yeah.
People do. They come to the conferences. They have a strategy. They have
Yeah.
a plan. But then that comes across so fake and forced to me. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It really does. And then I was like, I was just speaking my truth. And I think that like just goes down to the importance of like women like
Yes.
owning their truth.
That's right.
Yes.
And also like metaphorically, like to you guys is like podcast, like I look good naked. And it's
Yeah.
like saying that it's like I look good and I am great
Yes.
with my truth, wearing
That's
my
right.
truth and not being ashamed of it.
Right, or
Right.
having to cover it up or dress it up a different way.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
I am naked in my truth, and
Yeah.
this is who I am, and this is what I am.
Right.
Um,
And I think you do a lot of that. And just to talk a little bit
Yes.
about Kick-Ass Girl Powwow,
Mm-hmm.
because that's kind of where we first met you and was introduced to you, and you interviewed us.
No,
and
we met her before
well,
that,
we
Cass.
met her, but that's when we really started. Well, that's when I really started to know who you were. I met her before, but I hadn't done research, didn't know all that you did until the Kick-Ass Girls Powwow. You can't speak for me. I don't know.
well, you said that's where we met
Well, okay,
her.
well, sorry,
but
I said
did
we.
not.
met.
That's not where you met her.
That is not met. So don't take met literally, but that's when I was introduced to all that
To
is
who
sound.
she is. Okay,
Thank you.
gotcha.
But talk about that, because I just think that is so awesome, and just the work that you put behind it, sometimes with a budget, sometimes without a budget, and you're able to travel and you have a small team and you guys go and shoot and interview these amazing people, and now even that's getting a larger platform because of the work that you've put in years before. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Kick-Ass Girl Powwow came as an idea to where anytime that I noticed there was like some kind of woman event, it was like one type of woman. And it was like separate events, but every event
Right.
had a profile. Like, oh, like business women. Oh, like single women. Oh, like married women. Oh, like corporate women. And I was like, I don't fit into any of that.
Right.
You know, like I don't
Right.
fit into, or it was like, oh, all Latina women. And I'm
Right.
like, I am
Or
Latina,
Black
but
Expo,
yeah.
Black Women
Right.
Expo.
Yeah,
Right.
things
All
like
these
that.
Specific, yeah.
And even with my own like Latina people, like I was like, I don't feel like I fit into any of those things.
Right.
And I don't feel comfortable. So for me, it was like, you know what, like there's like kick-ass women out there that are just like, they don't fit into molds. They are living out loud in their own way. And maybe they're lone wolves. Like there's like women that move like alone, that they don't need like, not that they need, because there's nothing wrong with like being like with a group, but there's women that kind of like are a little more introverted or are kind of like alone a lot of times because they feel that same way that they don't fit into a mold.
Right.
So for me, it was like, if we just like create this kick-ass girl powwow, and it's just like for women and girls that are living out loud, and it doesn't matter like what your background is. Like you
Right.
could be a rock star, you could be a lawyer, you could be this, you could be that, and it's just like having these conversations, and there could be intergenerational, like they don't all have to be millennials, they don't all have to be like a certain like age group, like it's just like women in general. And it could be like people that identify as like feminine, you know, as women. So we just kind of started doing that really like organically, having the tea party where you guys came, and just like filming like women in a hot pink backdrop and just like sharing their stories and profiles. And now we've started doing like monthly meetups at restaurants that are like women ran or have women chefs. And it's been like really cool because it's like, instead of like over planning, because everybody's
Right.
busy, like kick-ass women are busy.
Right.
Like just
Right. Kick-ass women are busy.
yeah, like
Yes.
whoever can show up on the first of the month will like put out a thing like we're meeting here, and it's not structured, it's not like
Right.
fancy, it's just meetups. And what we've seen is that like women of different walks of life are showing up. It could be groups of 8 to 10, and we just kind of like vibe and talk about what's going on in life. I brought my son to the last one because I was busy. I didn't have time to drop
Right.
him off anywhere. And he was just sitting at the table, and when they were introducing themselves, he stopped and he was like, I'm CJ, and my job is to be a feminist.
That's funny.
And
I
everybody
love it.
was just laughing. And I think what was cool was that when we got in the car, he was like, Mom, like, you're always so busy and you're always doing stuff. He's like, this is cool. And like, he's usually playing his games.
Right.
But that meant something and I was like, really? You think that's cool? He's like, yeah, I want to have a kick-ass boy powwow.
Oh, that's so
very
dope.
Cool.
Oh,
that's very, very cool. How old is CJ now? How old is he?
He's 11.
He's 11. So yeah, so he's getting to that place of awareness now where he understands.
Oh gosh, I don't know
That's
why I
crazy.
was thinking he's like 7, but no.
Time just goes by very fast.
It's like he's not going to stay 7, Terry. It's
Nope.
been like
He's grown.
Yeah.
No, it's been 4 years, 4 or 5
4
years,
years.
now.
He's still
That would
not
make-
going to be 7.
Yeah.
So tell me, so we're in this really interesting time right now where women are speaking and women are saying how they feel. All the repression I feel is like bubbling to the surface with the Me Too moment and just what is it? Fair pay? It's not called fair pay. It's what is it?
It's time is up.
It's time's up, and I'm just going through the movements. But do you feel that it's now we're going back? So it's very reminiscent of the feminist movements of our history. And how do you think it will have an effect? Do you think it literally will change the course of history right now?
Yeah, I definitely do. I feel like I don't feel like it's going back. I feel like it's a new level.
Yeah.
Because like before, like women were fighting for like voting rights,
Right.
for like being able to leave like domestic like abuse homes, like
Right.
they were fighting for their right to go to work, for things like
for
that.
maternity leave,
Yeah.
just something simple like that. Yeah.
And when you think about like African American women, like their fight has been even like like a lot harder, and like Black women have been leading the way. Like that's one thing that like is so important to like note. And I think like right now, even like with the Me Too movement, like Tarana Burke was the originator of that movement. Of course, like it's great that the Me Too movement is happening and things like that. But we also have to remember that Black women have been like original feminists for so long.
Right.
And I think that's important to note. And it's like really cool because like just like in New York, just this last week, I was filming Tarana Burke for for some work that we're doing. So I got to meet her and we got to film her for a project that we're working on. And for me, it's like there is like a new movement going on, and I think it's like such a great time to be a woman because it's like right now, like like shit's still fucked up. Like there should be more progress. We should be further ahead. But there's no better time to be a woman in history than like right now. Even though there's still like like a pay gap, even though there's still like a lot of like like I said, like bad things going on, like right now, like women are literally like taking over. Like there's like more women like that are running for seats. There's like women are out here like making changes.
That's right.
Like women are out here like joining the workforce. I know that I was just speaking at the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and like Latina women are becoming like a really big group of entrepreneurs, which for Latinas is like a big thing because for a lot of us Latinas, like we are first generation entrepreneurs because our moms were still like stay-at-home moms, childbearing, cooking. And I'm like, whoa, like you stop and you realize like, whoa, like like for like just thinking about that, I'm like, for Latinas, like I am first generation entrepreneur. Like I'm not first generation American because I'm an immigrant, but thinking about like my grandma or my mom, I'm like, whoa, like I'm doing so many things that they didn't have a chance to do because of, during that time, like even if they spoke up being young, like young people weren't listened to back then.
Right. That's right.
Like now it's like as a millennial Latina woman, like people invite me to have a seat at the table and speak.
Yeah.
And people listen.
That's
and
right.
before women couldn't do that.
So do you guys think, on that note, because all of that is so true, and our voices, young voices, voices of color are so being listened to right now. So do you think this whole administration with Trump and everything, that it was something that actually needed to happen so that this shift could come?
He disrupted America.
Yes.
He was a big disruption.
Yes. So America got a glimpse of what was so fucked up about them that now they were like, well, we need to shift gears. And the shift of gears is listen to these women, listen to these minorities that have been pouring into this country, but we've been ignoring all the time. So to me, I'm like, okay, thank you God for Trump. Let's move it on now. But let's move it on.
But no, I mean, just like there's a God and there's a devil. You know what I mean? There's always a yin and a yang. And I just over time, there's always had to be in history in every country, there's got to be a dictator. There's got to be someone who comes in and makes situations so horrible that the people revolt. And I think we are in a moment of revolt. Well, that was
supposed to be what was different about America. That's what it was supposed to be.
Right.
That we didn't have dictators. That is
fascists and all of that. But you know,
but it was brought to the forefront that America, you're not so
different. I mean, look at America and its origins and how it became.
Course.
So I mean, we've been flawed for a very long time. Just not flawed. We covered our flaws with democracy. You know what I mean? With saying we were democracy or saying we were a democratic country. But I feel it was really just a blanket over everything. It was a title.
Yeah.
There's always things going on behind the conference room and the closed doors. And I'm like you said, it's all being uncovered. So it was a necessary evil, unfortunately, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it was just like what he's done is like lift up a big ass mirror to show us how ugly like our society is and has been for so long. And you know, like although it's uncomfortable, it's like the first step before like new creation or a new world is always destruction.
That's right.
And I feel like right now what's happening is like the deconstruction of old and outdated models and policies and things in America.
Views.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think it's like, I feel like even though it's so chaotic right now, it's a great time to challenge all of these things that are in place.
That's right.
And to bring them down and to like really like pave like the way for a new world, like for our kids. Like our kids are like watching all of this unfold.
That's right.
And they are so aware. We think that they're not sometimes, but they're so aware. And I mean, just look at the kids that are like out there fighting for like better, like
for gun violence in the walkouts.
Oh my God, I was so impressed and just elated and proud of America at that moment. Like these kids are brave enough to stand on what they believe because they've had enough. Again, the disruptor, the disruption, and just the change that it's making. Making it have to be
we're not comfortable. We got comfortable after civil rights because a lot of the civil rights leaders were young. I mean, the people that were really changing, they were like 19, 20, 21, and some of them were even teenagers. So, and then once everyone got settled, it's like we just kind of got comfortable, I think, for years and decades and started making money and just was like, okay, we won that battle. Let's not ruffle any more feathers.
That's right.
And that, again, starts to let others get comfortable. Yeah. And now we have what we have.
And even just speaking as a woman and how, again, speaking of just being comfortable and being comfortable in our mess, being comfortable in abuse and everything, just accepting it and not being quiet, and it's okay to be quiet. This is how it should be, and not going to say anything, not going to ruffle any feathers. And now the time has come where we're not like that anymore. Right. We don't have to be quiet. It's like we can disrupt. We can tattletale. We can let them know, oh, we know you've been doing this to me. I'm going to tell. Yeah.
So are we going to start teaching our kids now that like tattletelling? Remember, because we grew up under the era of you don't tattletale. Right. Like you don't tell on people. You don't snitch. You don't do this. So, you know, we now have become a culture of snitching.
Household. I'm always like, I want to know. I want to know everything. Tell me everything. Did he punch you? Did he touch you?
Well, and no, as parents, we are like parents, we've always been, but as kids in our own age group, that's where you get the no tattle, no snitch, no this. I think as parents, we've always been like, tell me if someone hit you or bothered you. But I don't know if we're even going to have that anymore. I think, again, it's like changing, where
Yeah.
it's literally like, I think peer to peer, you will now say, are you, is there somebody bothering you? Are you okay?
Right.
Is there a thing?
Right.
Like, we are starting to have a compassion that we haven't for our peers and our others that we haven't had in years.
And it's so empowering to feel free that you can say what's going on, that you can, that these women speaking just about their workplace and being free to actually say, that wasn't right what he did to me.
Yeah. Like Salma Hayek's story, like I was reading about when she was doing Frida, the movie. And like, I was like, whoa, like,
I didn't read that. What happened?
That article was like, she came out and spoke about like Harvey Weinstein. And about how he like almost like prevented like the Frida movie from happening. And she had to work like really hard, and he was like consistently like sexually harassing her. And I'm like, you know what, like,
wow.
Like it's
she said she almost quit the business. Like she was like, I'm done.
Yeah. And it was just like, to me, it was like, whoa, because it's like, first of all, like representation of Latinas and Mexican filmmakers is not huge. It's like 1% in Hollywood, if that. And it's like, we have Salma Hayek and her, bringing Frida to
huge.
That was a big thing.
Absolutely.
And to like read the story about everything she had to go through to get to that point of actually releasing the film was like, oh my God, like how terrible it must have been for her to like be working in that environment and not be able to say, this is happening to me, not be able to go on Twitter and be like, this motherfucker's like, like now, like people can go on Twitter and call brands out and call people out and be listened, and people give you an ear, and like whether they respect it or not, you're still going to have your voice out there.
That's right.
Before, it's like women didn't have that, like primarily like women of color, like all the stuff they've had to put up with over the years, and they didn't have an outlet, and they didn't have a voice.
That's right.
Like now it's like just like you said, like, I'm gonna tell on you. Like you said, what? Let me get on Twitter.
What you say? What did you do? Oh, okay.
And not fearing. Like sometimes you may fear repercussions, but not fearing them because you know that people are gonna listen, and that you're going to stand in your right to say this is not right.
Right.
And that is a great time to be alive.
That is a great time to be alive.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I'm so thankful and so happy that I am alive in this time. I love,
sick or not, she's alive in this time.
And I love being a woman. I've always valued my women friendships. I've always been that girl that really valued my friendships with my girlfriends. And it just brings me so much joy to see what's happening before our eyes. And just everywhere in the entertainment business, in the workplace, it's just everywhere now. And I just really hope, I'm not going to even say I hope, I'm just so looking forward to the continuation of this incredible, and I don't even want to say it's a woman's movement, it's a life movement, because it's going to be beneficial for everyone, for the
next
universe.
Generation, for the universe, because we are the creators of life.
Yes.
And so if our energy is better and our feeling is better and the way we feel about ourselves is better, then anything that comes from us, the fruit that comes from us, is better. Like a healthy tree. And I think for a long time we haven't been healthy. You know, like you, I haven't always valued female friendships because they haven't always been positive, but I also grew up with all pretty much males. I have learned to respect it, but what I am starting to see now is, which I haven't always seen, and maybe it was in myself, is we have each other's backs.
Yeah.
We were afraid to have each other's backs for a very long time because we felt like you would take something from me, or I would take something from you, or just a fear amongst, I don't know, women. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the way we were taught.
That's just
or
women. That's people walk around with businessmen.
Yeah, that's true.
With that, so everybody has to flex. But I do think that women, we are like the earth. We are the the basis, the access, the middle, the thing that holds life together. Yeah. And I think that when, like you said, when we are healthy, when our minds, our spirits, our souls are healthy, it only benefits the whole world,
the whole universe. I agree.
And that goes back to her quote, to the quote by Michelle Obama, where it said, "In
a society, we're gonna circle that back around.
Yes, you better bring it right back around in the circle.
We're valued, and I feel like we are coming to a place where women are being valued, and not necessarily by men or by other people, but we are valuing ourselves.
Yes,
and that is so important.
Yes,
right.
And that's even like just thinking back to like my mom's generation and past generations, like what I saw growing up, I'm like, I am so grateful that I did not live like as an adult during that time.
Right.
That I'm grateful that I am here now because of the sacrifices of like, you know, like past generations. Mm-hmm. Like they have made a way to where, like I said earlier, like I don't take for granted that people pay attention to what I have to say. Mm-hmm. Because for so long, women didn't have a voice. Right. They had to defer their power to a man or something like that. And that's not happening anymore. Like it's like we don't need that validation anymore. Like we could start our own businesses, we could do our own thing, we could speak our own truth, and if you don't like it, like you just got to keep on walking, you know? And it's just like even for our sons, like raising like men now, or you know, like I keep going back to that because as we are dismantling and smashing the patriarchy, and as we are, you know, just like getting rid of toxic masculinity, it's important to remember
toxic masculinity.
Yeah, and it's important for men to realize that we're not against them, that we don't hate them.
Absolutely not.
It's none of that. And it's like I have to think back often to like I'm raising a son. Like what kind of man does he need to be for the future so that he doesn't revert back to toxic masculinity, or that he doesn't feel like somebody's taking something from him because a woman wants to be powerful? Like how do I prepare him to grow up and know how to compliment a powerful woman and not need a powerful woman to like baby him or take care of him?
That's right. That's right.
And I think those things are so important now to where now I'm like always having conversations with him like, hey, you know that a woman doesn't want to like take care of you, like you know, you have to wash your own underwear, you have to do your own thing, because when you grow up you don't want somebody to take care of you, you want to compliment somebody else. That's right. And I think it's important that we take that into account as we're raising boys right now.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you, Sam, for being with us. This conversation could go on forever. I think you're so brilliant.
Thank you.
Really do.
I so look forward to Sam a decade from now.
Yeah.
Like
oh my gosh.
Because I mean it happens very quickly, but I just know you're going to be this leader. I don't know if you're going to be in politics. I don't know what it is going to be, but just your growth over 2 years has been just astounding. So I can't even imagine what it's going to be another 10 years from now. I'm going to be there and we're going to be watching. And
you're gonna come back on I Look Good Naked podcast.
Are we still gonna be doing I Look Good Naked, Tim? Yeah. They're not even gonna have podcasts 10 years from now. Who knows what they're gonna have? Everything will be virtual. We will be to people's homes.
She'll be the president of the United States of America.
What the fuck? If you, I would not be surprised.
Oh my God, I would so vote for you. You could run this country.
Well, I don't think I want to.
Well, thank you, Sam, for being here. I love you so much. You're my sister. I love you. I love you. I love you. And thank you for joining us and tuning in on I Look Good Naked podcast. Yay!
I'm a boss chick, yeah. I'm a boss lady. I be calling shots. I be getting money. I'm a boss chick, yeah. I'm a boss lady. I be calling shots. I be getting money.